Whispers of the Haunted House. One cold autumn evening, when darkness envelops the town, in its languid claws, a horrifying incident occurred in a small rural house. It was a house that legends whispered about, filled with tales of ghosts and ominous curses. The lives of the villagers were consumed by mystical fear, but little did they know that the true nightmare was only beginning. It all started when a family residing in this house vanished, without a trace. The neighbors sensed an eerie silence and decided to investigate what had happened. As they entered the house, their faces were filled with terror and disgust. Blood-soaked floors, torn bodies, and signs of unspeakable cruelty painted a macabre tableau of this crime. The police were called to the scene and began their investigation. However, their efforts proved futile. Anyone who entered the house soon disappeared without a trace, and those who survived returned with expressions of madness etched on their faces. People whispered that the house itself came alive, pulling its victims into a vortex of hellish torment. According to the legends, this house was the birthplace of a powerful cult that practiced black magic. Victims were brought to an altar and subjected to unspeakable suffering before their souls were cursed for eternity. And now, these cursed souls were returning to exact revenge for their agonies. As night fell, cries and moans filled the air, illuminating the sky with enigmatic signs. People who dared to approach this cursed place became prey to a ravenous malevolence. Consumed by shadows, their souls transformed into known, damned entities, restless and tormented. One by one, the villagers disappeared. They lost their sanity and were becoming puppets of this accursed dwelling. Life in the village became unbearable, and prayers and incantations offered no respite. To anyone who attempted to escape found only death or unspeakable torment. The locals tried to abandon the village, but the house had its power. It became their prison from which escape was impossible, except for the walls of the accursed house. Eternal night awaited them. And so it continued endlessly. The village plunged into darkness, breathing its final breath. Only the tales of those who witnessed the mystical horror swallowing life remained. The enigmatic house became a symbol of fear and evil, where only agony and suffering awaited. Recalling this story, no one wished to come close to this accursed house. To this day, its dilapidated walls stand untouched, carefully guarding its dreadful secrets. This story reminds us that in the world, there are forces that surpass our understanding and curses that do not fade with the past, but continue to bind their victims for eternity.